Dune Awakening launches on June 10th, and people are already jumping into the early access head start. Across all the reviews and information out there, one of the big questions I've seen kicked around is whether or not Dune Awakening is a MMO, or at least if it plays like one. That is to say, does Dune force you into a certain level of social interaction, eschewing any kind of solo gameplay with a paid subscription model? If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by upfronting the knowledge in my videos. So let me just give you the answer immediately. Dune Awakening is not a conventional MMO. You're not going to pay a subscription fee, you buy it and play it for life. There's no pay to win or even microtransaction store present in the game. Dune Awakening plays similar to a Division 2 or a Destiny, a massive game world where you will see people going about their own business, which you play however you want and at your own pace. You can entirely solo it, do it with a friend, or join a group, whatever works. The game is mainly PvE, where you play in one location, but there are multiple shared social hub locations, and then a massive deep desert that the true endgame is played with PvP and other stuff. How much of the game is gated by the deep desert and the PvE land is unknown at this point, but we'll find that out quickly in the coming days and weeks. There's also no rigid class system. You allocate 200 points across all of the available class skills in whatever fashion you want, with an easy way to respec all of your skills without any issue. This game is about exploration and experimentation, and it rewards you a ton by tapping into both of those aspects, as the world feels very alive and vibrant, while also desolate and terrifying in the way Arrakis should. Lastly, the building, while not really linked to the MMO conversation, is intoxicating. But that's the too long didn't watch this entire video, so if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. You can jump ahead to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters with the timeline in the description, and if you are heading out, and you found the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. Lastly, you can find a link to my Twitch below where I stream this game and plenty of other ones. But let's get started on how much of a MMO is Dune Awakening. So before we actually jump into the game, let me use this illustration to illustrate how the game is split up and how the actual server system works. So this is the developers explaining how private servers work, but private and public servers work in the same fashion here. Haga Basin is the location that the PvE portion of the game takes place. It's huge. I'll show you that in a sec. And then you have Arrakeen and Harko Village, which are two public hubs that you share. Let me turn that volume down a little bit for you guys. So once you jump in there, everyone on your server can see that. Now, there are clusters to the servers called seats. So if you jump into one of the seats with your friend, like, hey, my particular game is on Siege Rommel on the Sand Tide server. So the Sand Tide server has multiple sieges, and they all will jump into these shared spaces together. But Sand Tide is one of these. If you were to buy a private server or rent a private server with your friends, there you go. You would just have one of these. And the private servers would then share these locations. Now, the deep desert is another big portion of the game. The deep desert is where you will go eventually. It's kind of the end game. They've said that you could just hang out in Haga Basin your entire time if you want. You don't ever need to go into the deep desert. It's just where the best loot is, type of thing. But you could just build endlessly and not worry about it. The deep desert is a location where all the scary stuff is, all the hard stuff is, and it resets every week. And I'm going to show you in the building section of this video how you can actually complement that reset every week, but it prevents guilds from going into the deep desert and taking over locations, making it become kind of that toxic portion of MMOs where you're just never going to beat the largest guild on the server, that type of stuff. So they wanted to break that mold so that the deep desert resets every week, it destroys everything in there, so you can jump back in and try and get what you needed to do, get in and get out. It's kind of a bit of an extract portion of the game where the point is to get all the best stuff out of the deep desert back to your safe and sound location over here in PvE land. That's kind of the big role. So that's how the single server is split up. Let's jump now into the game to show you what the Haga Basin looks like, at least from a perspective. I don't have the whole entire thing unlocked. So this is the Ornithopter pilot. The Ornithopter pilot will then fly us to a lot of the locations I just showed off, right? We're already in the basin, but Arrakeen and Harko Village, they can take us there. So we're going to go to Arrakeen. It's going to cost us money when you have an Ornithopter. Okay, I'll just let you talk, okay? Go ahead, pilot. You can go there on your own. So this is going to join us. It'll show you a cool little cinematic like, hey, you're currently going to the city. So this is us landing now in Arakeen. And once we're here, you can kind of see that like this is a giant social hub, right? Like that's another character running away from me. Don't run from me. I don't like it. Please don't run from me. Every other girlfriend I've ever had. And you can see that it's just a big giant hub. And when I press M, you can see there's plenty of things you can do in this hub. Weapon merchant, Duncan's dojo, the Landstrad vendor, all these little things that you can buy through rep and all sorts of other things. There's a lot of stuff that can be done in this hub, and I don't really want to, I don't want to say ruin it, but I don't want to say ruin it. I was going to say spoil it, but there's a lot of cool stuff in here, and it's a cool place that you can just kind of hang out initially, because there is a global chat that you can access and use. So this is that social aspect of it, that social shared hub that you can tap into. You've got a bank over here you can use. You've got your actual marketplace that you can use. I have a marketplace over here, actually. Oh no, did I just say it? You can store stuff onto this. Like a marketplace, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that you can do in this hub. And this gives you that kind of MMO-y feel. So we talked about how this game isn't a typical MMO. And one of my favorite MMOs, the first one I ever played, is Ultima Online. And in my mind, it is still the best MMO because it does not have a rigid class system. And by not having a rigid class system, it allows you, the player, to play the game however the fuck you want. And that's what's important about Dune Awakening. You're going to choose one of 4 starting classes: Bene Gesserit, Swordmaster, the Mentat, or the Trooper. What you're going to see here, though, is that there are different talent points. There's a skill tree. And I've already done a video on this, but just to quickly break it down, these are abilities, these are techniques, which will either improve abilities or just other things, and these are passive abilities. You can socket up to 3 abilities and 3 techniques. And then you get 3 capstones. These capstones are either a passive, an ability, or a technique. It just depends. They are all what they are. Now, there are 104 total skills across all of these classes, quote unquote classes. You will get a max of 200 skill points. So technically, you could put 1 point into every single skill in this game and effectively use every single ability and every single technique and have every single passive. Now, what you'll see is I started as a Bene Gesserit. You unlock these classes, you find the trainers if you didn't start as one throughout the game. The story allows you to encounter them. So for example, I started as a Bene Gesserit. I've encountered the Trooper, so now I've got this. I've encountered the Scientist, so now I've got this. I've yet to encounter the Mentat or the Swordmaster. I know, though, that it takes more hours of investment, more time investment to find the Swordmaster and the Bene Gesserit. So if you wanted a recommendation on a class, start with one of those because they're the last to get unlocked. You'll unlock these 2 right in the very beginning of the game. So if you start as a Trooper, well, you're going to unlock the Trooper within the first hour. So take that, again, with a grain of salt. Play the hell however you want. It's not really going to matter in the long run because you'll unlock all of them. Now, let's jump back here to Bene Gesserit. You'll see that I put points into a lot of these. Now, like I said, you could put 104 points across all of the skills and have level 1. But if we look at this, it'll say unlock upgrade at the advanced Bene Gesserit trainer. So this tells you, yeah, you can specialize across all of them or specialize and drill down into 1 or 2 of them. You get 200 skill points, like I said. Each skill tree is roughly 90 to 95 points. So you've got enough to go fully into 2 classes if you want, and then sprinkle some over here and there. And what's furthermore about this, right? How this is a fluid class system. Bene Gesserit has all of the abilities that help out with sun tolerance, with healing effectiveness, healing regeneration, poison immunity. That's useful for every single class. Okay, I'm a Swordmaster. Well, I have tons of stamina recovery, stamina regeneration, hydrated stamina regeneration, heal kits now give me. more instant regeneration, more max stamina. So you can see that, yeah, I might only want to do Trooper and Mentat, but I probably want to grab some of these to help out with my stamina. Stamina helps with climbing, because that's a big portion of this game. You climb kind of like Breath of the Wild in Zelda. It also is crucial when it comes to melee combat. If you're low on stamina, you just get bullied. So there's a lot of things that you can pull from other classes. The Mentat, okay, maybe I want to do, where is it? Garment Keeper, so that I have a reduced durability loss, or a reduced max durability loss, stuff like that. The Scientist is going to be applicable to everyone, because this helps with harvesting, this helps with my actual vehicle, this helps with traversing the game world. I think the number one skill everyone's going to pick up is this one right here, this wire. So this wire is a grappling hook, and that allows me to go ahead and traverse the land quickly. So you jump into all these abilities, socket them in as you see fit. Now I've got my traversal skills, and I can just go traversing and maybe die live on. Oh, okay, good. Oh. But you can see that it's so much more of a fluid class system. It's not rigid. You're not just like, oh, I'm going to play a warrior for 60 levels, or I'm going to be edgy and play a hunter and never get a group because it's a hunter, and why would you ever play that class? But my point remains here. You get to have fun and choose the skills that work for you. Personally, what I'm going to be doing is go with a Bene Gesserit, try to get Swordmaster, and make some kind of like Dune Jedi build. You can have a lot of fun with that. You can do a lot of crazy cool things. Do you want to be quote unquote like a pet class? Well, be a Mentat. They start with a Sentinel. It's kind of the closest thing we get right now. So there's a lot of ways you can approach this. And hopefully you see now that this isn't such a rigid situation. And by starting with one, you're going to make it so that you can't play a certain way. Like I said, you're going to unlock all of these within, I think the estimation I heard, to unlock Bene Gesserit, which is roughly the last class, it would take about 10 hours of gameplay, give or take. You get them through little side quests, these things called journeys. It'll say like here, this one was to go unlock the Trooper, or this one was to unlock the Planetologist, which is now called the Scientist. So you do these little side quests. I think I've got one right now for nothing. I don't have anything for anything. But again, you can see that that's how this all works. And it's very fun because you can just simply jump into things and go, okay, now that I have a better feel of how all these work, I press this button and I can respec my skill tree. But this can only be done every 48 hours. So there is no resource for this. And there is a bit of a permanence to it. Because if you do this, you can go, crap, I misspent, or I don't like the build. You got to wait 2 days to respec again. So I like that there is a little bit of a risk reward here. You can't just simply just keep respecing and respecing and respecing. You're limited by at least a 2-day cooldown. So I do like that. But you can do this the second you play the game if you want. And getting skill points and leveling up is quite a fluid and quick system. So there are certain things about building and housing in video games that I just find so intoxicating, so fun, so enjoyable. And while this is not necessarily a conversation about the qualities of whether or not this game is an MMO, I think that just bringing up building in some way, shape, or form for this video, I think is pretty crucial because it's such a big selling point for me. I love that aspect of survival games because I said this is like a Division or a Destiny, but it is still a survival game. If you don't know the DNA of Conan Exiles, this is the same company. It is the DNA of a Conan Exiles, but the building is just so much better. But what I love about building here is, I'm gonna go ahead and pop into this. Here's my little block of land. This is a tier 1 little base that I've built up, and I can make this base into whatever I want. And it shares a lot of really fun things that I like from a lot of other games. So for example, I have all my storage that I've put down here. And if you've played Enshrouded has magic chests, which share resources across anything within its range. V-Rising just added treasury rooms, where if you put anything in a treasury room, the entire base can use it. Same thing here. Anything that's in any of the hoppers in all of your refineries or in your storage chests or on your person can be used by any one machine. And what's cool further here is, and this is a system I don't quite know too well, I can go ahead and manage this refinery, You can see I can just go ahead and pop some things in here, have stuff go to town. I can press this button to press expand and go to storage. I can make it so that I can set certain circuits to say, hey, I only want this refinery to specifically supply this fabricator, which is really cool. And what's nice here is like the fabrication portion of the game. Like, it's cool to like watch it actually fabricate it. So the building portion of this is really fun. It's really easy. It's very simple to kind of really sink your teeth into. And I think what's so fun about it too is like, it's just part of the gameplay loop. I'm depositing blood. The blood's turning into water for me. That water is being used as a resource to make this iron ingot for me, or ingots for me. I've got my fuel cell management here to put a shield around my base, much like the blood system for V Rising. So while this is not very MMO-y, it is very much part of the survival DNA of this game. What is that? Okay, cool. Of this game. And I'm on stream right now recording this video, and people on stream have watched me build this base out before discovering I actually have to tear it down, because I just unlocked the second tier of base building. So I've got this right here. You can see that the limitation up there for that little top of the location. And like I said too, this is still like MMO light. So, this dude just built all this. It looks great. Oh shit. So this is another player, and we can just live without any problem. He can come, he doesn't come into my base. I don't go into his base. I cannot go into his base. You have to set the access level here. So I actually made a second base right over here using the second tier of what's called a subfief. So now this has a much higher z-axis. It's a much wider and bigger base, and it's going to go down here onto the sand, over here onto this rock, and then up there onto that rock. So you have a lot of fun that you can do with this, and you can place these things wherever. You have the capability to kind of put the capstone, the finishing touches on this section, to take the base that you have made and create it into a blueprint. So I can go over here and just go, hey, I really like this base. Let's take this base and copy it. So now I have that base for myself to go place in the deep desert after a weekly reset. Or you know what, I've decided to move locations. I really want to take advantage of this second base that I've just built. Well, boom, I can place, let's just press that, and I can kind of tweak it around. It's definitely not a perfect system right now, and I'd say like time will make this better after feedback. Like you can tell, like that one brick here is in a bad spot, so I can't just pick this up and place it somewhere else. I have to cancel this and then try to place it again. I'm just gonna put something. I see my thing over there is bugging it out. So I can press this button and press left click to confirm it. And I still have to use the resources to produce this base, but at least now all the projections exist for me so I can build it out. This allows me to transfer my base around. I use it once and it's gone, but it just is a fun way to not feel like the progression of making a base is lost every time you want to move to a new biome, quote unquote. I'm using a term that is applicable more to Valheim. And it allows you to move into the deep desert without having to worry about building a base. You can also sell those schematics you make. So I've taken this, it's in this, it's locked in that replicator. I can sell this to people. So I have the capability to then sell these things on a market. There's a marketplace you can tap into. But one quick thing I did forget to show off here is when it comes to building, you don't just like press left click and build. It creates a little projection and then you build it. So this is a great way to kind of feel how you want things to work out, or see how you want things to fit into a space, and then have them, you know, fill that space, I guess you could say. But it's a real great system that I think has been the biggest draw to this game for me, and not even intentional. I was like, oh yeah, base buildings will be in it, it'll be fine. But I've now spent so much time doing it, and it's a huge, huge factor for me. But at that, it brings our video here to a close. So hopefully you have a better idea now of how this game plays. How much of an MMO is it really? Does this scratch the itch of a survival game that you were looking to jump into? This isn't a full-fledged review. I haven't gone through all the nuance and all the fun aspects of it. We haven't talked about how awesome it is to run away from worms and how terrifying at the same time. We haven't talked about the combat, both ranged and melee. People have reservations on both of them. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, both of those. I love the character progression. I love the research character progression. All the little things in this game that add so much fun to it. I'm loving it. But it's also pretty early, so we'll see how time will tell. And what I do like about this system too is it makes it so that I don't feel like if the server population were to drop, I don't get to have fun. The server population drops, I can have fun just as much as I've been having now. Maybe there's less people to take advantage of. Well, I'm not trying to kill people in the deep desert. There's less things to take advantage of with less people, of course. But at the same time, I still feel like the game provides enough that I'm not going to worry about population being a thing that actually hinders it, which is something very true of larger MMOs. Once your population drops, there's certain content you just can't hit without enough people. So if you have any comments you've been playing too, let me know below. Hey, you know what? I've been playing and this is what my experience has been and it's not been great. Or maybe it's been way better, and explain why. As always, I want to make sure there's as much information out as possible. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.